In this video, I'm breaking down all the best tactics that are working now for B2B SaaS customer acquisition in 2026. Because if you're running a B2B SaaS company and you're only using one customer acquisition channel, you're leaving an insane amount of growth and revenue on the table. Our agency at SaaSRise manages $12 million per year in digital ad spend for B2B SaaS companies. And we have over 500 SaaS founders and CEOs in our weekly mastermind community. We've seen what works and what doesn't week in and week out. So today I'm showing you the 10 specific tactics that are working right now to generate qualified leads for B2B SaaS companies so that you can know exactly what's working, why it works, and start implementing these ASAP. So let's get into it. The portfolio game. Why single channel thinking kills you. Before I break down each tactic, I need to say this up front. B2B SaaS marketing in 2026 is not about finding one magic bullet channel. It's about building a portfolio of channels that reinforce each other and create brand omnipresence. You want to show up everywhere your target market goes, online and off. And once you accept this reality, a lot of the false debates about what works simply disappear. The companies winning right now aren't the ones arguing about whether outbound or paid ads are better. They're the ones running both simultaneously, letting the channels reinforce each other. That's what I'm going to show you today. So let's start with the foundation, retargeting ads. Here's what's happening. Someone visits your website, maybe they read a blog post, they check out your pricing page, maybe they watch a demo recording, but they don't convert. They leave. Most companies just let them go, and that's the key mistake. Retargeting is when you follow that person around the internet and you show them ads on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Google, and across their partner network of sites like New York Times, Wall Street Journal, ESPN. Everywhere they go, you're reminding them that you exist and you're keeping your brand top of mind. You're giving them another chance to consider and convert. Why does this work? Because most buying decisions aren't made on the first touch. 99% of buying decisions in B2B SaaS require 10, 20 touches or more. A B2B prospect needs to see you many times before they're ready to buy. And so the psychology here is simple. Frequency creates trust, and that is what you need over time to get conversions. When someone sees your website and then sees your ad on LinkedIn the next day, it reinforces the message. They think, oh, I just saw that company. They must be a real player. It shortens sales cycles. It increases conversion rates. But here's what most people miss. Retargeting doesn't just convert people on their own. It makes all your other channels work better. So when that same person sees you on G2, they're more likely to open it because they recognize your brand from the retargeting ads they're seeing everywhere. How do you set this up? It's straightforward. You install a tracking pixel on your website, and you set up retargeting audiences on Meta, LinkedIn, and Google. You create ads that speak to people that have already visited you. You educate them, and you give them a reason to come back. And you make sure your ads say two simple things. Who is this for? And what is the benefit to clicking on the ad? The more specific, the better. So start here. If you're not doing retargeting ads yet, you're leaving a lot on the table. Matched audience ads. Now that you've got retargeting ads running, it's time to get matched audience ads live. Just use a tool like Apollo, ListKit, or Instantly, and build a CSV file of all the people in your target market. Aim for a list size of 30,000 to 300,000 people. That's enough to create a really strong matched audience on Meta, LinkedIn, and Google. Filter by fields like industry, job title, employee count, keywords, etc. Think of this as your ABM lead list, your account-based marketing lead list, a list of everyone in your ICP that you want to target. Next, export this CSV file of leads and then import it into Meta, LinkedIn, and Google as a custom audience, also known as a matched audience. And then once uploaded, it takes about 2 to 3 days to process in the background and build your audience. Once your audience is built and populated, you just turn on display ads to those exact people that match. And suddenly, you not only have retargeting ads going, you have matched audience ads going to everyone on your ABM lead list. LinkedIn sponsored message ads. So now you've got retargeting and matched audience ads running. Now let's talk about something that's been absolutely crushing it for mid-market and enterprise SaaS firms with ACVs, annual contract values north of $10,000. LinkedIn sponsored message ads. This is different than regular LinkedIn ads. With sponsored messages, you're sending a message directly to someone's LinkedIn inbox, not a display ad, not a feed ad, just a direct message from your company. to someone in your target market. So here's the setup. You take your ABM lead list, your ideal customer profile list, you upload it to LinkedIn as a matched audience. Then you send sponsored messages to that exact audience. So why is this working so well right now? Well, LinkedIn inboxes are less crowded than email inboxes. People often check them directly themselves. And when a message comes in from a company they recognize, it gets opened. Psychology is powerful. It can feel personal. It's not a blast to 10,000 people. It's a single message to a specific person. We've seen click-through rates on the sponsored messages be 3 to 4 times higher than regular LinkedIn ads because people are actually opening them and clicking. And here's the financial reality. At 30 to 50 cents per message, you can afford to test, refine, and stay visible without needing perfection. How do you start? Well, you just get your matched audience list, you upload your ABM list to LinkedIn, and you find out who matches. And then you create a message that's short and personal with a clear call to action. You set your budget and you launch. The key here is don't be salesy. You're starting a conversation, not closing a deal. Something like, hey, I noticed you're in this industry. We just published a report on a relevant topic. Thought you might find it useful. That's it. You're providing value, you're starting a conversation, and you're getting direct access to their inbox for 30 to 50 cents per person. Next, let's talk about LinkedIn Thought Leader ads. With LinkedIn Thought Leader ads, you are able to show organic social feed posts directly to your matched audiences. Most companies don't even know this exists, but it's absolutely working and it's way less expensive than display ads on LinkedIn. So you take your organic LinkedIn posts, the ones you're already writing and posting in your name, and you boost them to your ICP Fit matched audience using the Thought Leader Ads product. Now, what's the difference between this and regular LinkedIn display ads? Well, regular LinkedIn display ads cost $200 per 1,000 impressions usually. Thought Leader ads cost about 5 to 7 times less, around $30 to $40 per 1,000 impressions. Why? Because you're boosting organic content, not creating new ad creatives. And LinkedIn rewards organic engagement, and the algorithms will start showing your social posts to their organic followers as well as the paid followers. The psychology here is powerful. When someone sees a post from your founder or CEO in a feed, it doesn't feel like an ad. It feels like a genuine thought from a real thought leader. They're more likely to engage and they're more likely to remember you. Here's what's important. This tactic works because it builds credibility within a tight, targeted niche. Polished corporate creative triggers resistance. Founder content doesn't. We've scaled this to 1 million impressions per month within our target audience of SaaS CEOs and founders at a fraction of the cost of regular ads. How do you implement this? Well, you just write a killer LinkedIn post. You can put any existing blog post and put it into ChatGPT and say, rewrite for LinkedIn, 3,000 characters. Something valuable, a framework, a lesson learned, a contrarian take, something relevant to the news within your industry. And then you boost the post to your matched ABM audience. And you put the links in the comments, not in the body of the message, in order to increase organic reach. The key here, the content has to be good. If the post is boring, boosting it will only help a little bit. But if your post is generally valuable, it can go viral and get both paid reach and organic reach, creating serious brand awareness and pipeline. At SaaSRise, we're a SaaS CEO founder community, and we also manage digital ad spend for some of the world's biggest B2B SaaS brands like Instantly, Clearstream, and many more. So if you have between 3 million and 100 million in ARR and are a B2B SaaS company, you can learn more about having our team of experts grow your company for you in a done-for-you ads management service. We manage over $12 million per year now in digital ad spend on Meta, LinkedIn, and Google, and we've developed a deep expertise in setting up everything I'm talking about in this video, including retargeting ads, matched audience ads, thought leader ads, lookalike ads, sponsored message ads, and much more. Now back to the video. Now let's talk about finding new customers through Meta lookalike ads. Here's the concept. You take your best customers, the ones who are most valuable, most engaged, least likely to churn, and you tell Meta, find me more people like this. Meta's algorithm analyzes what those customers and prospects have in common, their interests, their behaviors, their demographics, their psychographics, and it finds similar people. Why does this work? Because your best customers are a great proxy for your ideal customer. They're the people who get the most value for the product, the ones who stick around, they're the people who refer you to others, and these social matching algorithms can find hundreds of thousands of other people like them. The psychology is straightforward. Similarity breeds affinity. People who are similar to your best customers are more likely to become customers themselves. We've seen lookalike audiences generate qualified enterprise leads in the $300 to $400 each range. That's about 50% lower CAC than cold acquisition or other types of ads, because you're targeting people who are similar and are predisposed to like what you're selling. Now, here's the important part. This only works if you build it from high quality customer, opportunity, demo, and qualified lead lists, not generic lead lists. How do you set this up? Well, you just get a customer list or an opportunity list or demo list, you upload it to Meta, and you create a lookalike audience based on that with a 1% match, and then you run ads to that lookalike audience. Google paid search, capturing late-stage intent. Now let's shift to search. Google and Bing paid search. There's 3 types of search terms that are working really well right now on Google and Bing. First, brand keywords. Be sure to bid on your own brand name and variations of it to ensure your competitors don't steal share from you and include common misspellings. Second, competitor and comparison terms. If someone is searching Salesforce versus HubSpot or Salesforce or alternative or Salesforce competitor, they're actively comparing solutions. They're in buying mode. So in this case, if you're a CRM provider, bid on those types of alternative comparison terms. If you're one of those alternatives, you want to show up in that search result, you want to bid on those terms. This works because intent in these types of comparison search terms is extremely high. Someone searching Salesforce alternative has already decided they're ready for a new solution. They're just deciding which one. If you can show up and make your case, you've got a real shot at converting them. The psychology is simple. They're ready to buy. You just need to be in front of them. The CAC on competition terms like this is usually 2 to 3 times lower than on general intent terms. Conversion rates are also much higher and the payback is good. Third, intent keywords. Someone could be searching for CRM software or email marketing platform or sales automation tool. They're searching for a solution, but they haven't decided which one yet. If you bid on those terms and show up, you've got a chance to capture them. So why can this work? It's because you're capturing demand that's clearly there. Someone's actively searching for what you sell. You just need to be visible and make the cost per lead and CAC payback calculations and see if your payback is fast enough for the cost that you're spending. So how do you start? Well, you identify the intent keywords in your space using tools like SEMrush. And you just type in search terms that people would type in, and then you can see similar ones, and you can see your competitors and see what specifically they're bidding on, and then copy their keywords. Create landing pages that speak to those searches and bid on those terms. The key is to match your landing page headline and subheadlines to the search intent. Someone searching CRM software wants to see a comparison of CRM options or a guide to choosing a CRM. So create content on the landing pages that matches the search intent. Cold email at scale, the volume shift. And I'm talking serious volume, at least 2,000 emails plus per day, 40,000 emails plus per month. Many companies think cold email is dead. It's not, it's just evolved. And when you see that the goal of cold email is to build awareness within your target market, everything changes. If you see cold email as an awareness channel rather than a direct response channel, the whole mentality shifts. You'll want to aim to get your entire ABM lead list exposed to your cold email campaigns at least 3 to 4 times a year, about once a quarter. We've seen open rates of about 50% and click-through rates of about 3% on well-executed cold email campaigns. How do you start? Well, you build your ABM lead list, you set up your domains and inboxes in a outbound sending tool like Instantly, you launch your email sequences, and then you manage replies and follow up with the clicks. And remember, go for clicks as much as replies. Also, when they click, your retargeting ads activate and they can do the heavy follow-up lifting for you. LinkedIn connections and messaging, systematic outreach. Here's a tactic that's working on LinkedIn, but most people aren't using it effectively, and that's LinkedIn connections and messaging outreach at scale. You simply send connection requests to your ABM lead list. You can send up to 200 per week on LinkedIn. When they accept, you automatically send them a message, and you can automate this with tools like HeyReach or Kakio. Why does this work? Because LinkedIn is where B2B decision makers hang out. They check their LinkedIn inbox, they respond to LinkedIn messages, and a connection from someone in their space feels more legitimate than a cold email. The psychology is interesting. LinkedIn feels more professional than email. It feels like a genuine connection, not a sales pitch, so people are more receptive. We've seen response rates on LinkedIn outreach that are 2 to 3 times higher than email because people feel like they're having a genuine conversation, not receiving a sales email. And here's what matters. Systematic outreach done thoughtfully with targeting and follow-up still works on LinkedIn. You don't need to be clever, you just need to be consistent. You don't have to be salesy, just start a conversation. Something like, hey name, I noticed you're the title at company. We work with companies like you on a specific outcome. We'd love to chat if you're open to it. That's it. You're not pitching, you're starting a conversation. Weekly email newsletters compound trust. Your newsletter should go to 4 different groups: your customers, your warm prospect list, your current and past leads, and everyone who repeatedly engages with your cold outreach. This works because it compounds trust over time, and every week you're showing up in their inbox with valuable content. You're not selling, you're not educating, you're building authority. The psychology is powerful. Consistency builds trust. If you show up every week with valuable content, people start to see you as an authority. They start to remember you, and when they're ready to buy, you're the obvious choice. And here's the key. Weekly consistency beats monthly consistency with email. Monthly newsletters fade into irrelevance, but weekly communication on the same day every week keeps your brand familiar through a 6 to 12 month enterprise and mid-market buying cycle. We've seen email newsletters generate 30% of total pipeline because they're the compound flywheel effect for all the other tactics. How do you start? Well, just create a basic content calendar, one piece of valuable content per week, send it to your warm list, your leads, your engaged prospects, and repurpose that content every week into ads, LinkedIn posts, and cold email follow-ups. The key is consistency and value. Content first warming, the missing piece. Here's something most companies get wrong. They take cold leads and hand it straight to SDRs. That's a mistake. What you should do instead is to warm up the cold lead data with content first. Here's what I mean. Before your SDR reaches out, that prospect has already seen your content. They've read a blog post, they've watched a webinar, they've seen your case study, they've seen your founder's LinkedIn post. This creates contextual awareness and intent before manual outreach begins. So when your SDR enters the conversation, it's not a cold conversation, it's already partially open and warm. This cold lead warm-up phase is a critical part of the sales process for any company with an ACV north of $25,000. How do you implement this? Well, you just run light content-driven email campaigns to cold leads, not sales pitches, just valuable content, PDFs, webinars, case studies, and you run these every couple months. You combine that with an aggressive retargeting of engagers. So if someone engages, clicks, reads your content, they start seeing ads from you everywhere. It's a slow compounding effect, but it's real, and the strategy starts paying off after a few months. And once that happens, your SDR conversations are way more effective. So that's what's working right now. 10 specific tactics that are generating qualified pipeline for B2B SaaS companies in 2026. They work together as a system. They're not complicated, but they're disciplined and do require focus. And if you execute on all of them and have a quality product, you're practically guaranteed to see growth in your company. Now, if you want to go deeper on how to actually implement this system inside your company and you want to see the exact playbooks and templates we use with our clients, I've got two options for you. First, you can join the SaaSrise community with the 500 plus SaaS CEOs and founders already in there. Join our Slack group and our WhatsApp group and our Circle platform. Second, if you're ready to scale faster and you want done for you support, you can just hire our team to take care of it all for you. Just visit saasrise.com/agency. Either way, the time to start is now.